Hello, 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 good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. I hope this email finds you well. So, welcome to Big Sister Sesh with you, girl, Kayla G. Let's crack into it, my loves. Also, it's 20 degrees and I'm tired. and that's why I look this way. And that's okay. It's okay because I'm on the comfy train. Okay? Just like I can't be everything to everyone. Just kidding. Yeah, I look like this today. And I'm a baddie, but like sorry I'm not more dressed up, I guess. Anyway, screw all that. I already said this. It's Big Sister Sesh with Kayla G. What's up? Today we're going to be talking about being alone, being lonely, and what to do about it. How about that? First, we'll start off between the difference of alone versus lonely. If you are alone, you might be somebody who just got to college or just moved somewhere brand new. You're just in an unfamiliar setting, you're not with your core people, or maybe you've been in a setting and you just don't have your core people, don't really have friends. You are physically alone. And being lonely is when you have those friends or you have people in your life, but you still don't like truly feel seen or heard, or like they're good friends or like good people to be around. Like being with, even though like being with them feels lonelier than if you were physically alone. So those are the core differences. And how how do you stop feeling alone or lonely? Well, there's two schools of thought. There's kind of like what I think as the steps to getting to not being alone or lonely is you can start from 2 points, whether you're alone or lonely. Lonely is one step behind alone. And here's my reasoning for that. Because if you're lonely, if you have those people in your life, but you're still feeling lonely, you have to get to alone. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to start actively stepping back from those people and spend time alone. You need to be brave enough to step back. If you, it's uncomfortable either way. It is uncomfortable to be lonely in a group of people. It is uncomfortable to remain with these same people that aren't conducive to your growth, aren't good friends, aren't good people in general, or just maybe they just don't have the same wavelength as you. This doesn't mean they're necessarily bad people, but they like you've outgrown them. Um and so there's the discomfort of remaining in those relationships and remaining lonely even though you're surrounded by people. And there's also the discomfort of removing yourself and being truly alone for a couple of months, most likely. But in my opinion, as someone who's lived it multiple times, it is better to one has a better result. One has the chance of something better. They're both uncomfortable, but one has the chance to be something better and one is just going to be the same. So, step out of your comfort zone is my first step. From it's lonely, alone, and then real friends, real relationships. That's the track. So if you're starting from lonely, you need to start removing yourself from those people because they are gonna. My dad has said this to me since I was a youngin'. He has said, "You step in shit, you smell like it." And if you're hanging out with people who like aren't your vibe, aren't focused in the way you are, have different interests, have like or maybe they're just party friends and like you can't have a deep conversation with them, you're constantly going to be near those people if you don't stop hanging out with them. Like they're not going to become better people because you will them to. You need to just go actively find those other people that are more conducive to your growth. Nothing will change if you don't. Those people aren't going to change. You need to change. Speaking of staying with those people, even if they're not doing bad by you, even if they're not like shitty people, it's still an act of self-betrayal to deserve yourself that way, to actively not try to get better in that respect, to build a community, to have those real life connections that are so, so important because when shit hits the fan, you need those real people in your life. And I know people who have it all, but when shit hits the fan, they have very few people that they can call. And that's ultimately like that's what you want. You want to have people you can call for real. Like, do I even need to elaborate on this? It is an act of self-betrayal to not find your people, to to keep to keep going along with the narrative of what this group of people are. Maybe it's I'm gonna for the sake of an example, I'm gonna say they're partying. And they're just people who like every weekend they just want to party, 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 and like you don't really want to party anymore, but you don't have any other friends to like sit back with you and maybe just order in and watch a movie or, go to the gym with you or whatever, and you're actively self-betraying. You probably don't even want to go out, but you don't want to be alone either. It is better to be alone. It is better. It is better than to keep doing something that doesn't serve you, that you don't even want to do. It's better to be alone, and yeah, you might experience some FOMO, but you're doing ultimately if you turned your phone off, if you didn't look at people's stories and you stayed in and you ordered yourself your favorite meal and you went to the gym and had a really nice early night and you got a full night of sleep and you woke up and you read your book and you did all those things that you've been wanting to do, and you just didn't tempt yourself with the viewing of the stories, you wouldn't even care. And you would wake up being like, oh, refreshed. I get to have my full day, whereas I've been hungover every Saturday for the last 5 years. It's an act of self betrayal to not, like, you're not allowing yourself to grow because you know you don't want to do that stuff anymore, whatever it may be, whether it's partying. I can't think of any other example right now because I'm really tired. Whether it's just girls that like are really catty, whatever. If they're just people you can't talk to, people you can't turn to, separate yourself from them. Stop hanging out with them because you're taking away from time from people who might actually, one, you're taking away from time with yourself, and two, you're taking away from people who might actually give a fuck. So now, when you are willing to step back, when you're willing to step forward from lonely to alone, or if you're just in the alone stage, now we will continue as if it's just one cohesive thing. So you get from lonely to alone. We're all here. We're all the alone line. Once you're willing to take that next step and spend some time with yourself, you should view this as an opportunity to get really clear on what it is you want anymore. Are your goals, are the things you're doing like still what you want? Because I know 3 or 4 years ago, I was working towards something that at the time I wanted, but this last year, I really did some digging and I was like, is that really like my goal anymore? And it wasn't. And that's a like hard pill to swallow, to realize certain goals of yours that you might have been working for a really long time aren't your goals anymore. You might feel a lack of passion or a lack of just drive to do it anymore. And you might be finding yourself wondering like, why is this what I want? So it's a really great opportunity to get to know yourself better. Know what you need out of people. Learn what your toxic traits are in friendships, just in friendships, not even in relationships. I mean, any relationship, like some of us are super needy and we get worried when people don't text us back and we're like, oh my God, that must mean they hate me. Or sometimes, we when people are too busy to see us, I mean, yes, to some extent people will make time if they care about you, but this is real life and people are grinding hard as hell. Like right now I am barely making time for my life and my relationships. But I'm still trying. But like I'm not I can't hang out with everybody. I can't hang out with everyone in one weekend or else I have no time for myself. Like, I don't know why I'm going on that tangent. What I'm saying is figure out what's important to you, what traits that you want to look for in people and friends, what traits are big red flags to you. What are your hobbies? What are your hobbies now? Now that you're not going out partying or now that you're doing the things that you want to do. What are those things? Do you want to find people who are still partying? No. You want to find people who are doing the things that you want to do. Whatever that may be. Maybe it's a music. Maybe you're really into museums. Maybe you do like partying. Like maybe your friends decided that they don't want to party anymore, and like you want to like still go out, which everything is fine in moderation. But if you're partying all the time, we gotta have this conversation, baby girl. But like whatever it may be, whatever thing that your friends have stopped doing or are continuing to do that you don't agree with, whatever it is, I literally can't talk. I'm so tired. I'm gonna take a sip of this tea real quick. Honestly, bad. Honestly, not very good. Um, so really just create that, like, whether it's a literal list or a mental list of what you like and what you're looking for in a friend. But if I can take anything from the alone time I've spent with myself is like find what makes you excited and what you enjoy and what makes you happy. Because in my relationships, not even friends, like with men, I have compromised so much of myself. I've given up hobbies. I stopped listening to the music I like. I stopped, wearing my hair the way, like, I didn't do my hair, my makeup, my outfits my way. I did it to please somebody else. Or even with like friends, I was doing that too to a point. Like, if I knew I was hanging out with a particular group of girls, I would, dress a certain way because they had an aesthetic and I wanted to fit it. So, figure out you, and then seek people out who can complement you. Now, when it comes to actually seeking people out, one, that's a hard thing to do because it's kind of weird and awkward to like, it's not, I don't think it's weird and awkward, but I think everyone else or a lot of people think it's weird and awkward to go on Bumble BFF or like the Facebook groups, but every single like relatively large city, every medium sized city and up has a Facebook group dedicated to like making friends. Mine is blank girls hang out. It's like the city I'm in, girls hang out. And like there's got to be one in every major city. I literally don't believe that there isn't. I'm sure there is. And you just join the group. Most of them are this format. You like post a little blurb about yourself, and I would be so specific. Don't be like I love my dog and I love the sunshine. Like be so for real. What are your real hobbies? What are your real hobbies? I really like going to yoga early mornings. I don't like going out. I want someone who I can get coffee with and like sometimes a happy hour. I my One of the lines I used, which I would encourage you to use if you're in this stage of your life, is I'm looking for friends, all of those things. I like yoga, blah 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 blah. I like all the things that I like. And then I would say I'm looking for relationships that include but don't revolve around drinking because I'm not against drinking. I love a good happy hour, but I'm not looking for party friends right now. I'm not looking for girls who want to go out all the time. I'm looking for people who would rather get a really nice dinner, maybe see a concert or like go to a comedy show and then go home. Like I'm trying to be in bed at 10 o'clock, 11 on the weekends, if not earlier. Last night I think I was asleep by like 9:30. But even if it feels a little awkward, a little forced, right in those Facebook groups, make your Bumble BFF profile and be genuine and actually take some time and put some effort in because you're going to get in what you put out. If you really want to if you want to find a girl who genuinely shares the same interests as you, you're going to have to express those interests in a genuine way. It takes maybe 30 minutes to like really craft your profile and like yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard, okay? Just do it. Do it. In that same vein of using Bumble and Facebook groups, you are not obligated to hang out with every person that you talk to. It's not your responsibility or your prerogative to give every single person a chance if you're not hitting it off with them. Like, it's one thing if you don't hit it off in the messages. Like, messages should have a little bit of like a connection, a little tiny bit. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, but like there should be a little bit of connection there. And then in person, if you guys don't like, if you really don't see anything there, no hard feelings, like, don't hang out with them again. And if they keep hitting you up just like lightly, like brush them off, like brush them off. Or if you're more straight up, you can tell them like, hey, like no hard feelings. I just think we're on a different wavelength. And yeah, they're probably gonna get offended, but who fucking cares? Your time is currency. We do not have time. Who has time? Who has time to go on a million friend dates? I don't have time to give people second and third and fourth chances just because they're nice and I feel bad. Be so particular with your time. You know, you can give people a chance, but like once it's like, eh. With girlfriends, I feel like you pretty much know right off the bat if like there's potential there. So your time is money. Don't feel bad. I know it's awkward and like you're gonna feel bad about like turning people down or like ignoring them or whatever, but it's literally just sorry. That's the way the world works, and my time is money. And like if I want to find these friends, I can't just keep going on friend dates with you because I feel bad. But those people that you do hit it off with, don't let that fall by the wayside. Like, or even if you don't hit it off, even if you feel a little bit of connection, like pursue them. Pursue them like you would like any relationship, anything. Like just, I always follow up hangouts with like if I, genuinely had a good time. Like, hey, I had so much fun. Like, I'd love to hang out again next week. What does your week look like? It's not cringy to care and like put in effort. I think we just have this idea as a society of like, if you're just listening right now, I'm doing like the like I don't care face, but like there's it's cool to care. It's cool to have passion and it's cool to like be a loving and caring and whatever person. It is cool. And if they don't respond well to that, then you don't want to be friends with them anyway. If you hit it off and you text them, "Hey, like blah blah blah," and they ignore you, one, maybe they didn't feel the same spark and they're entitled to that. But if it's just because they think that message is weird, get fucked. Like, I'm not telling you to be like, I love you, but like, just a little validation goes a long way because especially as women, like us putting ourselves out there now in a friend way too, we're also putting ourselves out there all the time romantically with the shitstorm that is dating. And now we're also like essentially dating women too to find friends. Give them a little validation. You probably want it, and they'll probably most likely they'll come back and be like, "Oh my god, me too, girl." And if all of this sounds like, yeah, okay, like you don't, it's easier said than done. I've done this 4 times. I went to college 9 hours away. I lived in New Jersey. I went to college in North Carolina. Didn't know a single person. I knew one person from my high school that was like, we were kind of friends. Shout out Brennan Kelly. We were kind of friends. Look, we were friends. We were friends. But like, we didn't like hang out once we went to college. We barely saw each other. We'd see each other like in passing. And then I moved to another new city. No, in college, I studied abroad. And I knew one person doing that too. And I made so many friends. I put myself out there. I joined clubs. There was no Facebook groups. I mean, there probably was, but I didn't join them. I just raw dogged that. And then I moved after college. I moved to another brand new city. Did the same thing. Went on Bumble BFF. Made one of my best friends to this day. Her name is Diana. Shout out Diana. Um, and then now I moved to where I am now, and I did this. And here I knew it. Not a soul. Not a soul. I didn't know a single person moving here, and I did the whole thing over again. And I made some of the best friends that I've ever had, and I know I'm going to be best friends with them for a really long time. I've done it a million times. Like it's not impossible and it's not weird and it's like I feel like I've so like I know myself. I surround myself with people that like I hold them so dear because they hold so many of the same values as I do. And like if you're someone who's maybe stuck in the same kind of like if you kind of you know, there are a couple of scenarios that I'm thinking of one person in particular, and they're probably if they listen to this, they're gonna be like, "Bitch, what the fuck?" But if you went to school kind of close to your hometown, and then you moved kind of near where you lived your whole life, and you're hanging out with you moved to where everybody from your college graduated, like where they all moved to the same city, and now you're still hanging out with everybody from college, and you're doing the same thing every weekend. I'm so sorry, person. Um, like, and that's a lot of people. And like those people, when I tell this one person, I've there are multiple people that I know that I've talked to about this, and they're like, "Wow, like that's so crazy, like that's brave." And I'm like, not even to toot my own horn, but I'm like, it's really not. It's really not. It's so fun to get to like decide who I am here, and nobody knows like X, Y, and Z that I've done. Not that I've done anything crazy, but like I don't have to be tethered to the old versions of myself. I can be this new person and blossom in every possible way. And even if you are in the same city, in the same college town, whatever, you can still do these things. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because you're still going to be physically around those people in some capacity, but you can still remove yourself in a way. And it's not to say you can never go out with these people, like duh. But you can, instead of going out with them 3 nights a weekend, take one of those nights and dedicate it to a Bumble BFF date every weekend. Meet one new person a week. It's not hard. It's 2 hours of your time. Come on. Come on, people. Come on. I did it. That's what I did when I moved here. I went on a million dates. I orchestrated brunches from that Facebook group. I got my first 2 weeks here. I orchestrated a brunch and like 8 girls showed up, and one of the girls. 8 out of 8 of them, I only really stayed friends with one, and she's one of my good friends here now. And the other 7, I have no idea what they're doing with their lives. Power to them. Have a great time. We didn't hit it off the way that me and the other girl did. But that's fine. That's fine. Like it is okay. Like put yourself out there, face rejection. Uncomfortability is the key to everything. Is the key to growth. Is the key to like building confidence within yourself, challenging yourself. God dang, guys, there's so many nuggets of advice in here. Are you taking notes? Just kidding. So I'll ask you again. Would you rather you can be uncomfortable in two different ways: uncomfortable with the same result or uncomfortable with the possibility of a better result? And most likely, and hint, hint, it will happen, a better result. You will find those better people. You just need to go out and do it. You have to go out and find them. They're not going to land in your lap, and you're not going to will the people that are treating you like shit to treat you better. Like it's just not going to happen. They're not going to randomly be like, you know what? Like maybe I should be a better friend. Probably not going to happen at this point. If you're in your mid 20s, sorry. Um, like go do you. Go find those people that feel like home. Go find those people that you can call and cry on the phone to. Go find those people that will take you to the airport at 6 in the morning. Go find those people that when you get in a car accident and you don't have a car, they'll drive you to and from work. And go find those people that are your fucking home. Like, go find your family. Go find your chosen family. They're so important. They're so important. And you don't need a million friends either. I really only have one or two really close friends that I've made in my year here in this new city. And I've made a lot of good friends, people that I definitely consider friends, that I can see our relationships will definitely become greater. But they're still very much in the learning stages. We've only gotten to hang out a handful of times because we ain't got time. Um, but these are still people that I'm pretty sure, because I've been so specific and particular on my profiles and my posts in those groups, they are people that I still think if shit were like if I were to get evicted tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I could call any one of them. Like no, I'm like 95% sure any one of them would be like, "Yeah, you can stay with me for a few days to figure it out." Period. So, yeah, that was a lot of tough love. Let me give you a little bit of positive affirmations now. First of all, if you are feeling alone or lonely, you and everybody else, dude, like you are not alone. So many of us feel alone and lonely in a group of people, or we just feel like we have no one but ourselves to rely on. And no, that doesn't negate your suffering. That doesn't mean like, oh, I'm okay now because other people are experiencing it, but like you're not alone in feeling alone and lonely. It's a human experience, especially in this new age of like living on social media and working girl bossing 15 hours a day. Like it's hard to foster those relationships. So you're not alone, but it is not too late to change that around. I know that was cheesy as fuck, but like deal with it. And when you start to do this, if and when, and things start to seem bleak and you're tempted to just go out with those people again or just stop the Bumble days because they've all been terrible, remember why you're doing this. Like, remember, it's not just so you don't feel alone, it's for your future because you are an accumulation of the people that you surround yourself with. And if you step in shit, you smell like it. So you're doing this so you can have other successful, like minded, same frequency people near you. You want that to inspire success and growth. You don't want to like remain with low frequency people or just people that are on a different wavelength than you. Tolerate the short term pain, embrace the short term pain for the long term result. Remind yourself often that you are doing something hard. Like, this is a very uncomfortable, weird thing. Like it feels weird and unnatural to remove yourself from people or actively seek new people, especially as an adult, especially as someone in your, when you're like 19 to like 35 and you're trying to find new friends. Like that is it's weird because a lot of people still have their core friends. A lot of people have those core groups. And those core groups might not even be great, but they have their core groups and it's hard to find people who are actively seeking to develop and find more inspiring relationships. So show yourself some grace and like compassion for yourself because you're doing a hard thing. We can do hard things. Thank you, Glennon Doyle. We are capable of doing hard things, but you can also find compassion and love for yourself and give yourself a rest and allow yourself to cry and feel the feelings that go along with, you know, this whole process. And lastly, I already kind of touched on these last few things in this episode already, but one, effort is cool. Remind yourself that effort is cool. Passion is cool. Giving a fuck is cool. Anyone who says otherwise or makes you feel otherwise is not right for you. And this also doesn't mean that you need to isolate immediately. Like, this doesn't mean you need to just absolutely remove yourself from everyone that's around. I mean, obviously, there are circumstances that might even call for that. Like, that's a whole nother episode. But if these are just people who are like, I'm going to use this example again. If they're just your party friends, like, you don't need to never go out with them again. You don't, if, go out with them once a week, but take that other day to go make a friend and go meet somebody new or go to a event. Oh, another great thing you could do is join like a team or something or a club. Join a book club, join a pottery class. Like do those little things. Like those people that are in that, people that, they're looking for the same thing. And very lastly, in case no one's told you yet, I am proud of you. I am proud of you for one, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably looking to grow in some aspect or just learn something so that you're that's a step above most of the population anyway. A lot of people are just doing the same damn thing they've always done. So if you're listening to this podcast or anything like this, then I'm proud of you. And if you're taking any of the advice that I'm giving and maybe you're like, maybe I do need to do that, then I'm proud of you. And if, you're not ready to take it in action, but you're thinking about it, I am proud of you. And if you're calling yourself out on your bullshit, I am proud of you. I am. I know I don't know any of you three people that listen personally, or maybe I do, but who, if anyone listens to this, I don't know you personally, but I can gather a few things if you were intrigued by this podcast. So I am proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. That being said, we are done here. We are done. Signed, sealed, delivered. I am going to go because I'm tired. I'm going to make a new cup of tea because this was ass. And have a lovely day. This has been a Big Sister Sesh with Kayla G. Bye. Bye.